Welcome back, guys, and today I'm going to be talking about the problem with Chapter 3 Season 4 and, what the real problem is. And we have this conversation every season for some odd reason. It shouldn't be happening to the type of game Fortnite is, but we are having this conversation. So, on to the video. The main thing is I would like to talk about is the map. And I get how you make all these changes to the map, but it's like it's bad changes. And exactly what we got in chapter 2 was like we didn't get a lot of map changes. We would get new locations, but they would be light changes. Not like the map would be like completely changed. Like when you look at chapter 2 season 1 to chapter 2 season 8, a bunch of those locations are there. And I don't know if Fortnite heard that, and a lot of people were saying that. Cypher PK in general who said that. It's literally like they heard him, and there's only 3 of the original locations that have not been touched: Chonkers, Rocky, and Greasy. Everything else, like Tilted, even in the slightest form, in changing the name and not even looking different other than Chrome being on them, have changed. Sleepy, Logjam, and just I love those locations, man. I loved Logjam. I seriously loved those locations. They changed them in a bad way. Changed it. Yeah, I loved Sleepy. I loved Shifty. I loved OG Logjam. I loved Tilted, and they just changed that. The Reality Falls and Reality Tree thing. I loved Reality Falls more than Reality Tree this season. Hate it, like, dislike or like my opinion on it. It's just a better location last season. It was like the color exactly what it brings out is the Primal Season vibes. The Primal Season vibes of that shit orange color they had on the map. That horrible color. They did that on this complete side. I hate landing here. After they removed Camp Cuddle after those 2 seasons, it's been terrible. You know, it's been terrible. It's horrible. It's I don't know. It's like the whole backside here is garbage. It's boring. I hate it. It's the worst part of the map. Well, maybe I might be exaggerating, but it's like, who wants to land there? When I do land there, I land there for quests, or sometimes I land somewhere near and I'm just walking there because zone's there, or I'm just walking to get to another location or do something there. I don't know why I'm walking there, I just walk. But it's just horrible. Camp Cuddle used to bring so much stuff. Like you had the cabin in the middle here, like literally right where that lake was where that watchtower used to be. So Camp Cuddle used to be down here. It would extend down here. You would have the 3 little areas, the huge cabin here, the hills it would connect to, and everything. Camp Cuddle was, as much as I used to say in chapter 3 season 1, is that the Jonesies and Sanctuary were my least favorite locations. Hated those locations. It's just musty colored locations, musty green colored locations. But they grew on me as you know, they should. You know, they grew on me. A bunch of locations grew on me. Like, Sleepy was our location this season. Like, I miss those. They changed it in such a bad way. As they changed Coney as well. Daily Bugle, I can't complain. It was a whatchamacallit. It was a collab, location. They had to get rid of it. Eventually. But, you know, touching all these other locations and just changing the name a little, like Fort Jonesy, I still like the way the POI looks, but the name is just like, why? There's no need for the name change. Herald Sanctum, I don't like the way it looks. I hate it. I miss that. And I just need to talk about, like, it's so boring here. Like, Camp Cuddle used to be back here. You used to have Camp Cuddle here. You used to go on the mountains. There wouldn't be tons of fucking trees here. But it was a nice location to be at. The watchtower here, everything was fun here, and the color, like, I missed that. I missed having that there. That was such a fun thing to have, and it's gone. Let's talk about the guns now. We talked about the locations on how they absolutely messed them up and touched them, and this is the final chapter 3 season, so this is the last we'll ever see of certain locations, you know. But here we go. The guns, like, we've had so many guns that we've kept over the years, like the sidearm, the Ranger, have all been here since day 1 that I can remember right now. But they took out the MK that was here day 1, the auto, and Striker. They removed the heavy shotgun, which was added. What else? They have a second AR. They must have had a second. They removed the Stinger and then the Combat. The Hunter Bolt got added back this season. They had to, you know, obviously retouch it on, you know, it doesn't one-shot, headshot anymore. The Heavy came back this season. There are a bunch of guns former and new that came back, and I just can't remember a couple, but there's a couple guns that stayed here the whole time. Other than that, like the items they add, like such as the new grapple, and what is he just standing here for? The new grapple item, the porta bunker, the crash pads, the shield bubbles. I like those little items, but for some odd reason, the throwable launch pad's retarded. It literally is just you're throwing down a launch pad. It's worse than the actual launch pad because it takes up a spot in your inventory. It does, and that's why it's terrible. It takes up a spot in your inventory. They're like, why? Like, you could literally carry more launch pads than 2 in an inventory slot. Then, like, you can literally carry more than 2 launch pads in the building slot area where, like, you can hold it. Resources in your inventory, you can literally hold more than 2. But then Fortnite's gonna just add the throwable ones where you number one have to throw it down in 0 builds. It's good for 0 builds. The lever, the ranger they added, the Cobra DMR replacing the actual DMR, literally a season apart, literally seasons apart. Combat AR having that last season and the season prior to that. What other guns they had? They had the revolver. They added what else? What other guns? The prime shotgun, the 2-shot shotgun. Like every season they would add a new shotgun and it would be gone. Like you had the 2-shot, you had the heavy, you had the 2-shot, you had the ranger, which would be a new gun. The prime stuck around. Prime shotgun's still here. But you had all that. What other guns? And you're able to ride animals last season. They added that finally, but it just didn't match vibing. Like it wasn't the hit I needed. Like it's like, oh, I can ride animals. Chrome guns are terrible. I love how they added weather changes in the first season from like rainstorms in little areas and tornadoes. But that was completely removed after. Like, they were both removed. The season's gone. And then they added tornadoes, I think, like, less than mid-season away. So, like, the end half of last season, they added tornadoes. And then they froze them in Chrome. So they only stay in one spot for the whole match. As you can see them around the map here. It's just too many items is what they had. Even last season when they would unvault a new item every week or make a new one. Like even the dial drop. Like it doesn't hit the same. It's like, wow, this is a boring item. Like it doesn't hit the same for me. I love the med mist. They only added the guzzle juice for 1 season and I hate that. Like guzzle juice was such a fun item to have in the first season. Shield kegs was nice. Like, but there's just items that are terrible. Like, you know what? I'm gonna go and we're gonna have a video later about this on ranking Fortnite items from this season. Oh, as we're saying, those are the guns. What makes this season bland is just the updates. You like everyone's used to Fortnite having these big updates, but they like how should I say? They just sure to keep the game you have to keep the game fresh somehow, and updating it every week, whether it be adding a new item, fixing stuff, like removing items, that's something good. That's something, you know you're at least updating the game. But when the updates happen, that's when the big stuff should happen. But it's boring now. Like our preferences on everything have changed, so it's just boring. It's stale, and it's not Fortnite's fault for it being stale. It's not. I can't blame that on Fortnite. It's not Fortnite's fault for the game to be stale. About to end the match, so that's all I gotta say really right now. Is just those are the main key factors on why this game is the map, the weapons, and the way the game runs now. Like, it's completely changed. The players changed, and I just got the game-winning shot, but the players change, and the preferences change, the way they play change. So you have to do these things for them to, fit in. And it's just, that's all I gotta say. It's just the map, from what it used to be to now what it is completely different. I hate it. The weapons needed to change. The loopholes garbage. It's just stale. The game is stale. You needed chapter 4. Like, there's no way this could have ran for at least 8 seasons. For another 4 seasons, no. I couldn't see it. I literally couldn't. So that's all I gotta say. Is it's boring, and I'll see you guys in the next